Have you ever met someone who seemed extremely confident, but somehow everything always revolved around them? They needed admiration, they avoided responsibility, they struggled with empathy, and criticism, even small criticism, felt like a personal attack to them. That's not just arrogance, that's psychology. Today, we're breaking down the psychology of narcissists, what drives them, how they think, and what's happening beneath the surface. Because narcissism isn't just ego, it's insecurity in disguise. Let's start with a common misconception. Narcissists don't secretly believe they are superior. Psychological research suggests many narcissistic traits are built on fragile self-esteem. On the outside, they project confidence. On the inside, their self-worth is unstable. This is why admiration feels necessary, not optional. Validation regulates their self-image. Without it, their identity feels threatened. That's why they often seek attention, status, or dominance in conversations, not because they feel powerful, but because they fear feeling insignificant. Now let's talk about empathy. Studies show that individuals high in narcissistic traits can understand emotions cognitively, but struggle with emotional empathy. This means they can recognize what you're feeling, but they don't emotionally resonate with it. So they may know you're hurt, but they don't feel responsible for the pain. This creates a pattern in relationships. Your feelings become secondary to their ego protection. Another core trait is hypersensitivity to criticism. Even mild feedback can trigger defensiveness. Psychologists call this narcissistic injury. When their self-image is challenged, it creates psychological discomfort. To protect themselves, they may blame you, minimize your concern, shift the topic, or attack your character. This isn't random aggression, it's ego defense. Their identity depends on maintaining superiority. If that cracks, their internal instability surfaces. Now, here's something deeper. Narcissism often develops as a coping mechanism. Some theories suggest it can stem from childhood environments where love was conditional, where praise was excessive but inconsistent, or where emotional validation was lacking. In such environments, a child may learn, I am valued only when I perform. I must appear strong to avoid rejection. Over time, this creates a protective personality structure. Grandiosity becomes armor, control becomes safety, superiority becomes protection against shame. In relationships, this creates predictable patterns. At first, narcissists may appear charming, charismatic, even intense. This phase is often idealization. You feel special, chosen, admired. But once familiarity replaces novelty, the dynamic shifts. Validation becomes expected, criticism becomes conflict, and empathy becomes limited. If their partner stops feeding admiration, emotional withdrawal or devaluation may follow. It's not about love, it's about regulation of self-worth. Another important point, not everyone with narcissistic traits has narcissistic personality disorder. Narcissism exists on a spectrum. Some traits are normal, healthy confidence, ambition, self-focus. But when narcissism becomes rigid, exploitative, and empathy deficient, it begins to damage relationships. The key difference is accountability. A healthy person can admit fault. A narcissist struggles with it, because admitting fault threatens their core identity. And here's the psychological paradox. Narcissists often fear abandonment deeply, but their behaviors push people away. They crave admiration, but resist intimacy. They want control, but struggle with emotional safety. This creates unstable relational cycles. Intense connection, followed by distance, followed by blame, followed by reconciliation. And the cycle repeats. So what's the real psychology underneath narcissism? At its core, fragile self-worth, fear of shame, fear of insignificance,
emotional underdevelopment, and a constant need for external validation. The loud confidence is often protecting a quiet insecurity. Understanding narcissism isn't about diagnosing others, it's about recognizing patterns, because awareness protects you. The more you understand the psychology behind certain behaviors, the less personally you take them, and the less control they have over you. Psychology isn't about labeling people, it's about understanding the mechanisms driving behavior. And once you see the mechanism, you stop being confused by the pattern.